This is my Talaria XXX Pro, and at the moment, it's completely stock, other than this front plate and cable management I put on earlier, but I've still got some things I need to put on, which will hopefully make the bike a lot better. And if you want to see exactly where I bought them from, I'll leave a link in the description. I'm going to start with my Thrillseekers seat cover. So the first step is taking off the seat. There's a few screws that I'm going to have to undo. Now I've just got to unscrew the back fender. This might be the most annoying bolt to undo on this whole bike. So after installing the seat cover, I just found out that you don't actually have to undo all of these bolts underneath the seat, and there's actually a pin in here that you can take out, and then the whole seat just comes up. If you were wondering, yes, I sat there and took out all of those bolts, which I definitely didn't have to do. Alright, so now the seat should just come straight off. I should probably give this a bit of a clean while I'm here. Now I can finally fit the seat cover to the seat. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing. A row of these, and then I've got to pull this out. And then this goes in here, pointing down. I think that one in properly. And then this should go back in there. Push it, and then I think that's loaded. Alright, now it's time to actually do the seat cover.
No, you're right.
I'll give that a go. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that went in.
Yep.
I pretty much have to put it like right next to each other. Yeah, that went in.
Yeah, I tightened it a bit, so it's a bit more pressure.
The top bits come out. Looks pretty good.
I reckon.
Cool. Thanks for the help.
You're welcome.
Now that I've done all the stapling, all that's left to do is mount the seat back on the bike. I think it sits like that. Okay, now I can put the fender on. Okay. And just like that, the seat cover is now installed. Turned out perfect. Next up, this upgraded Baja light. So if this was a Suron, the installation would actually be quite easy, but since it's a Talaria, it comes with a different connector. And since this new light came with a Suron connector, I've only got two options. I can either buy an adapter, or I can just rewire it, which is what I'm going to be doing now. I'm going to start by taking off this front plate. Now that I've taken off the old headlight, I need to start cutting wires. Alright, now I've got to be really careful with this bit, because the copper is very thin on these lights. Perfect. Alright, now that I've cut off the old Suron connector off the Baja light, I need to take the Talaria connector off the old light. I think I'll cut it about there. Alright, I've got what I need off the old light. Now I can put this aside. Now I've got to be very careful not to mess this up. It's such a thin wire as well. So you can't really see it on camera, but I actually ended up snipping a couple lines on here. So I'm going to have to do it again for full continuity. Oh my god. So I somehow managed to snip one more of the strands. I think I've only got one more go at this. Okay, I think that did it. I finally did a perfect cut. Alright, now let's do the black one. I'm barely even putting any pressure on it. Well, it looks pretty good to me. Let's move on. I'm going to take the Baja light off the bracket to make it a bit easier. Now let's start twisting the ends off. Alright, I'm going to cut down some heat shrink. Now that I've put heat shrink on, I can start twisting them together. Alright, now the black and red cables are now joined together. Now I've taped up the ends together, but before I put the heat shrink on, I've got to make sure that it actually works. Alright, that's in there now. Now the moment of truth. Oh, let's go. It actually works. Oh, but the light switch doesn't work. So the light works, but the light switch doesn't. And the light just stays on when the bike is on. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to reconnect it. I'm going to connect the red wire to the yellow wire because the yellow wire leads to the white wire. Alright, before I do any more, I'm going to plug it in to see if it works. Let's go! The light switch actually works. Alright, I've taped off all the ends. Now I can slide the heat shrink up and put it on and start heating it up. I'm going to make sure the ends are sealed off really tight to avoid getting water down there. Here's what the final product looks like. Alright, now all that's left to do is to plug the new light in and then put the plate back over the top. Now I can fit the front plate back on. Here's the final result of the Baja light. I think it looks really, really good. Here's the difference it makes. Next up, I'm installing these chrome CNC pegs, which pair nicely with this chrome motor cover. I'm going to start with the motor cover. Alright, so I've just taken the side panel off, and it actually looks like this circle part is attached to the whole thing, so I'm going to have to cut it off. Don't want to mess this part up. Alright, so I've cut it off. I'm just going to sand down the edges. Alright, I think that's the best I'm going to get it. Now I'm going to fit the motor cover onto the belt. Now I've just got to put the side panel back on. The motor cover is now installed. I reckon it'll look really good with the new pegs, but I can't install them yet because it's gotten a bit too dark, so I'm going to install it tomorrow. Alright guys, it's now the next day. We've got much better lighting, so let's install these new pegs. Alright, so it should be as easy as just taking this spring and putting it inside the new peg along with the pin, and then putting these back on the end. So I've been at this side for about an hour trying to get this to work, but it just isn't going to work with this spring. It just keeps slipping, so I'm going to have to buy more springs. So I've got to wait about a week or two for the new springs to arrive, but luckily you don't have to wait a second. Alright, so it's been a couple weeks and my new springs have finally arrived, but during the process of buying the new springs, I stumbled across these new pegs, which I think look much better, and due to the design, these would have actually worked with my original springs. So let's install them. Okay, so I've messed up again. These new springs are way too long. When I actually use the normal springs, it actually works perfectly fine, and it works just how it should. Let's do the other side. This is a bit of a comparison against the two. Look how much wider the new ones are compared to the old ones. Just like that, the new pegs are now installed. They look and feel 1,000 times better than the old ones, and it matches really well with the motor cover. With all that said and done, here's the final result.